the Wannabeez.
Fuck them, I don't know.
Hey guys, you guys like me? Come on, guys.
I love you, Jim.
Goo goo baby John.
Don't do this to me.
You're a fucking baby. Oh my god.
A young striking man.
To quote Bart Simpson, don't hurt a cow, man.
Our self-esteem has been beaten down by life.
I want to throw my daughter out of her crib and bring John home and just put him in the crib and tuck him in.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Wannabeez. I'm your host, John Van Hook. Joining me, I have some of my favorite people in the world. Let's start with the guy to my, if we were in the same room, he'd be in my to my right. Let's start with Justin Kyle.
Yo, how's it going, guys?
And then, if we were in the same room, but we're not, but that'd be awesome if we were. Kind of sounds like we are. He'd be to my left, Nick Gula.
Let's go!
And boys, amongst many honors I've had since the beginning of this pod, this is obviously going to move to the top of the tier. But if we were all in the same room, not to beat a dead horse, if we were all in the same room, looking across the table from me, one of my favorite podcasters in the late century. And I know he thinks I'm just saying that, but I actually do watch his podcast, despite the multiple times he said I don't. Brian Ruppert of the Reviewing History podcast and Tell 'em Steve Dave fame.
Hey, how you doing, guys? I don't know about fame and me in the same sentence. That doesn't belong. I'd like to thank you for being the one listener of Reviewing History. Always appreciated to meet the one listener, so thank you.
He's also a fucking popcorn kernel.
I am a popcorn kernel, and, I don't know when this comes out, but all I'm going to say is you might want to get some butter and oil, because I've heard the popcorn kernel's got some hot and ready stuff coming.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah,
So,
baby.
Popcorn Kernels is a side thing that me and Chuck Staden of Fun Bearable and also Tell 'em Steve Dave do, where we alternate between our two podcast feeds and we talk about different movies we've seen.
Fuck yeah, dude.
One of my favorite moments, absolute favorite moments of the Jersey trip was being in a room and just being able to observe Rupp and Chuck just kind of bounce back and forth off of each other. The quickness of the two of them and the chemistry, you could tell it's so good. So the popcorn kernels, I think it was just bound to happen eventually.
I think it's one of those things where, like, me and Chuck are like-minded in many ways, but also different enough in some ways, where we can come at something from two different angles and see it differently. And we also both love Jimmy so much, Jimmy the hair guy, that when the three of us are in a room, it just turns into me and Chuck just relentlessly mocking him for however long we're together. And it's honestly some of my favorite fucking times hanging out is just ripping on Jimmy. I sincerely do love Jim, but I just do love busting his balls so much because he's so funny inherently.
I was almost a victim of some of this banter. I remember when we were at the general store, I almost got my head shaved. It was going to be a
That's right.
whole thing.
Me and Chuck tried to convince Jimmy that he should pitch Walt a show called Jimmy the Hair Guy's Barbershop, and the premise would be every episode he sits down with a different aunt because he's now obsessed with Q's hair. After buying it, he's obsessed with hair, and he wants to learn to be a barber. And every episode, he cuts an aunt's hair as he's, like, interviewing, like, Walt and stuff, and we put a barber pole up, and we tried to get him to pitch this to Walt. And Walt, unfortunately, talked him out of it.
Didn't Wallace say that you guys were fucking with him? Wasn't that the line?
Walt did blow up our spot a bit on that, yeah. But I don't know if it would be a good pod. I think something like that is so experimental and weird. If you can get one episode of that out, just throw it at the wall. Maybe people will be like, that was so insane, I want to see more.
Yeah.
I think the more wild the show, the more views it's going to get just across the board.
I can't say too much, but I'm currently pitching a big Jimmy project that is either I'm going to try to get it on Tell 'em Steve Dave on their Patreon, or I love the concept so much that I'm going to try to take it to the Reviewing History Patreon eventually. So I'll tell. All I will tell you guys is the name of the pod. I won't give you any details.
All right, exclusive.
Jimmy the Hair Guy versus the world.
Wow.
Come on.
Fucking awesome.
Right? Don't you
awesome,
hear that?
yeah.
And you're like, what is this?
That sounds so fun. My imagination is running right now. That is so fun.
I'm not gonna lie. I think you put his name in almost any title, and I'm like, let's do it. Jimmy the Hair Guy goes shopping.
Well, I'll give you guys another, because we're talking about Jimmy the Hair Guy. I'll give you guys another Jimmy the Hair Guy exclusive. He's going to be a guest in November on Reviewing History.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to play a new game I've created called Jimpressions.
Impression.
Yeah. So we are going to test Jimmy the Hair Guy's impression skills.
I love
Oh, this is.
That's gonna be
They're
nice.
all gonna just be from Philly.
Fuck, dude. I don't know.
that. So speaking of Jimmy the Hair Guy, I actually got a message from him today about Wannabeez. He was listening back to the Four Color Seaman show, the one that the three of us recorded in New Jersey.
What's funny about Jimmy is he loves semen of 4 colors.
Arguably the gayest
dude.
come on earth.
Fuck, dude. There's so many different colors. It's so hard to pick just my favorite 4.
But yeah, we recorded with Chuck and Natalie. He seems to be convinced that Chuck hates him now from some of Chuck's comments about Jimmy on that show. So he was just texting me. He's like, "Does Chuck hate me? What the heck?"
That's fucking hilarious.
What were the comments?
He's such a little spotlight whore. People think that he's like this cute little guy. He came in, oh my God, I love her. This guy is fucking so full of himself. He has such an ego. We walked off the boat and he said that because of his rap, he could have had any woman on the boat. I want to put that out there, that Jimmy the Hair Guy, that's who he is. In deep inside, that's who he is. Out when you see him, he's fucking 2 feet tall. He's like Chucky running around, all excited.
It's not the entourage of people following.
Yeah.
It's,
Right.
It's the goofy rap.
Yeah.
Stage.
Yeah, he's hugging people's legs. He looks like he's all starstruck. In real life, he's like, I could fuck any bitch I see. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, it's fucking bananas.
How do you respond to this, Rupp? Do you think Jimmy is a spotlight whore?
I think Jimmy has a severe case of FOMO at times and wanting to be involved. And I think the good and bad thing about Jimmy is that he always wants to be involved, and I feel the same way. Like, I want to be on every project. I want to be involved with every project. I always want to be around. And Jimmy feels the same way. The difference is I shut my fucking mouth. And Jimmy is open about it. And I'd be like, fuck, dude, I wish I was on this project. Oh, my God, I was only on 3 out of 4 projects this month. Do you think everybody hates me? It's from a very sweet and, like, good-natured place. But, you know, it's like, Jimmy, chill. Everyone likes you, you know? Just relax a bit. But he's so high-strung.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah. He's a very panicky, nervous person. He's like a human meerkat almost, where he's like just covered in shit and nervous and looking around all the time. He kind of has bug eyes.
With a cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you guys like me? Come on, guy.
That's fucking awesome.
Jimmy is awesome.
I love you, Jim.
For people who might not be very versed on Rupp, do you want to give us a rundown on kind of what you do? We've already said you have the Reviewing History podcast, which is just so much fun, and I can let you explain what that is. You'll probably do much better job at that. And then any other occupations you want to tell us about?
Yeah, what's your resume?
Yeah, I am Brian Ruppert. I'm a filmmaker and teacher. I teach professionally. I teach film and graphic design. And I also do podcasting work and video work and film work and big creative projects like that. A lot of it is with the podcast Tell 'em Steve Dave. Occasionally, I'll fill in for Chuck and Video Tuesdays with Stories, another podcast. But most of my work is with Tell 'em Steve Dave and the Odd Film Project. My personal podcast is called Reviewing History. Basically, me and two of my best friends, Anthony Galati and Steve Badagliacco, we watch movies based on true stories, and we go through the movie, and we tell you the plot of the movie, and we break down what's real and fake in the movie as we crack jokes and bust each other's balls the entire time. That is the basic premise of the show. You'll learn a little, hopefully you laugh a lot, and you come away feeling pretty good. Anybody can listen to the show. We try to make it as open and fun as possible for a big audience. And the other thing, and the reason I reached out to you guys, is because this Black Friday, November 29th, we are releasing our second Christmas podcast. Last year, we released our first one, which was a double podcast album, I guess you could say. And there was one podcast full of games and stuff like that. And the other one was we went through the movie It's a Wonderful Life. This year, we're doing games as well, and a big thing like that. And the other movie we're going to cover is Die Hard. And the name of the album this year is The Christmas Freak Off. Yeah, so you can kind of see where this is going. It's called The Christmas Freak Off. If you go to bandcamp.com, you can follow Reviewing History. You'll get an alert once it drops. Or you can go purchase it on Black Friday, November 29th. I promise you, there's a lot of good guests. I'm not dropping any names. I want it to be a surprise. But it is going to be just a fun fucking time. And we're also going to have a bundle available with last year's pod and this one's as well. So if you want to catch up all at once, you're free to do so.
I just want to say real quick, Reviewing History is so much fun. If you haven't checked it out yet, I very much urge you to do. I know there's a lot of these little, everybody wants their own podcast, yada, 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 yada. I don't know how I ended up on I don't know how I ended up on Reviewing History more than others. Like, I haven't caught up on Fun Bearable yet, and I'm deeply behind on Reviewing History because I like to do my nitpicking with it. And, but it's so much fun, and right away, all the Tell 'em Steve Dave episodes, like when you have your guests on, are the best. Like Jimmy the Hair Guy, his episode was really one of my favorites. But honestly, the episode where you did Catch Me If You Can has me just pissing my pants. I don't know what it is about like that that movie. Just like something, it's already like a far out there plot movie, but the way you guys tear it apart it's just so funny.
Oh no. We lost Rupp.
We'll keep it rolling.
Yeah, we'll get him back. We'll get him back. Don't worry about it.
Oh, we'll probably cut this part out.
Yeah, we'll cut this part out.
We can cut this part out.
That's okay. We can just wait for him to get back.
Hello?
Gotcha.
I'm sorry. It dropped completely. Yeah. We hardwired me to the router now, so hopefully
there you go.
that works. Sorry again.
It's all right.
It's saying I'm wired.
Okay, you're good then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we last left off. John was blowing Rupp, and Rupp dropped out.
Yeah, I want to finish. I want to hear the rest of that.
No, but I was just saying that obviously the episodes with the Tell 'em Steve Dave Town residents are the best, but my personal favorite's the Catch Me If You Can episode. And I noticed you guys do a lot of DiCaprio movies, but the Catch Me If You Can episode, that one it had me rolling the whole episode because you guys love accuracy, and then just the movie itself is pretty far out there. So, and just the way you guys tear it apart is awesome.
Yeah, it's funny because I think the better the movie is, we almost have more to pick at and more to like have fun with. Like we all have our favorite episodes, but like 8 Men Out is my personal favorite. I think it's our funniest episode, even if you're not a baseball fan. I think we're just all so on, and we barely talk about the movie, and like I was dying laughing when we did that one. Gangs of New York is probably our overall best, where like there's a decent amount of comedy, but we're also really into the history in that one. And Titanic is another high point for us.
I got a guy that lives in Boston that I know. He's a union guy that looks exactly like the Butcher. Exactly. We go to freaking Island with him, and it's funny as a bastard. That's what they call him. They call him the Butcher because he looks exactly like that dude.
You got to go down to Ellis Island or the border wall, and, you know, when they see the Butcher, they'll be like, oh, shit, he's back. The natives.
Yeah.
Where are all you guys located?
Massachusetts.
I'm up in Maine.
I'm over in Iowa, in the southeast Iowa.
Ah, home of Slipknot.
Ah, yes. Mhm.
That's what I know about Iowa. Slipknot's from there. Maine, I know Stephen King is up there, and lobsters.
Yeah. A lot of lobsters.
Lobsters.
Stephen King just went to like a local fair here and it made fucking news. Like it was all over the place. Oh, did you see that Stephen King was in Freiburg? Oh my God. It was crazy.
Someone's lesbian aunt is out. That's what Stephen King looks like now. He looks like your old lesbian aunt.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like she's from an older generation. She was a lesbian, but she couldn't say anything until she was like, you know, it was a more modern era. So it was like, why do I have two aunts that live together? That's so weird. And then afterwards, you're like, oh, they were gay. That's what Stephen King looks like now.
Yeah, he looks like every
so
gym
true.
teacher.
Yeah. Is Derry a real place?
I don't think so. Is it?
Derry is New Hampshire.
Derry, New
New
Hampshire.
Hampshire. So
Derry, Maine. No, I don't think
no,
Derry, Maine is
Derry,
real.
New Hampshire. That's what he based that on.
Yeah.
And Pennywise, of course, we all know is real. So
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, there's really not much out. I mean, there's lobsters. There's a lot of weed. That's about it. A lot of like deadheads.
We got a lot.
A lot of deadheads.
You got a lot of meth. A lot of
Yeah.
lot of crackheads.
it seems like Maine's having a good time.
Yeah, we're not doing terrible.
You're onto something there with Iowa because you can get everything you need from it out of the background of a Slipknot video. It's just cornfields and abandoned buildings and guys beating barrels with bats.
Well, you know, you got to stick your fingers into your eyes.
Yeah, it's the only thing that slowly eases the pain. Rep, so since we got you here, I figured we would do like a classic crossover episode. And since our podcast lacks any like structure or like a theme besides bees and bee-esque facts, which we'll get back to that. Your podcast, you know, you have a structure. So I figured we would adopt that real quick. It's something you're very familiar with, something that we could run with. So I thought I would challenge the guys. Let's all bring some movies that we thought would be good for some historical talk, some period pieces, and we can just break them down and go one by one. So, and also, I thought it'd be fun to ask, like, if you had any interest in doing any of these, like, episodes on any of these movies we brought up.
All right, let's do it.
Hell yeah. Who wants to go first?
You're up, John. You go first.
You brought it up, John. This is
Awesome.
your thing.
Yeah. Let's do it. I just brought one thing.
You said two.
I only brought one thing, and that's...
Hold on, you're already breaking the fucking rules.
I didn't say two.
Oh, I thought you said bring two movies.
No.
It's
I
already
just said
breaking
bring
down,
some
guys. Come on. It's already breaking down. Let's be professional here.
This is not a well-oiled machine, guys. I gotta say.
Come on, guys. Let's get it together. Just because Brian's here, let's keep it together here.
So the movie I chose, I actually am genuinely curious if, first of all, what your opinion is, like your standpoint on the movie, whether you like it, hate it, and maybe even if you would consider doing an episode on this. When I think about period pieces,
Gross.
or historical movies, for me, this probably isn't the most like historical thing, but like I don't know. So something about the setting, the time frame in it, it immediately leaps to my mind when I think of like period pieces. So what I'm bringing is the movie which I think is also based off Stephen King. Ironically, is Stand By Me, which is based off of his book. It was called The Body.
The
wasn't
Body.
it?
It's a short Stephen King story.
Yeah.
I
was
absolutely.
it a story or was it a book? I don't know the difference.
Yeah, or it's a novella or something. I don't know. I absolutely adore that movie. I love that whole movie. I love the end line where it's like, I never had a group of friends again like I did when I was 12. And it's true. It's like your group of friends when you're still 12 and young and you're like mischievous and you're running out and you're doing like weird little kid things. Like for them, they're going on train tracks to look at dead bodies and stuff. And like me and my group, we had our own like little adventures. And I remember I hadn't seen the movie yet, but me, Steve, and a couple of our friends at that time, we didn't know Anthony yet. We went to the Staten Island Mall and we're doing 12-year-old stuff in the mall. And the security guard, he's not being a dick, but he's talking to us. And he's like, you guys remind me of, you ever see that movie Stand By Me? And he was like, no. He's like, you guys remind me of the kids in that. And it always stuck in my head. And eventually when I saw it years later, I was just like, wow. Like, yeah, I see what he's talking about. Now, unfortunately, there is no way we're going to be able to do that on the show because there's not a real story it's based on.
That's what I was afraid of. I honestly didn't know if there. Yeah, I mean, obviously, since it was based off of the story that he wrote, I don't know if he ever based it off of any sort of true crime-esque stuff. So I was absolutely afraid of that part. But a boy can dream, man. I'm glad you really like the movie. It's easily one of my favorites. Everything you said about it is basically what I wanted to say about it. It's just like it captures that. Like, I feel like, I mean, call me a old man at this point. I'm only the ripe age of 26, but I just feel like kids don't
You're
get
26?
these experiences like this anymore. Yeah, man.
You're a fucking baby. Oh, my God. I want to, like, pick you up and like, cuddle you. You're 26?
You can. You totally can.
Yeah, he's the baby of the group. He's the baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no clue you were that
But,
young. Wait, you being 12, you must remember it so easily. That was like 2 years ago.
Damn it, don't do this to me.
Goo goo baby John.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm glad I lent a little bit of credibility before I revealed that. It seems like I had you dead to rights.
Oh, no, I'm still all in. I'm a big John fan.
Okay, great,
Nice.
Awesome.
But that what I like about this is like you open my brain because we're working on a Patreon for reviewing history and like it did like I'm always trying to think because the thing I love about our show is the format and the structure, but it also presents problems sometimes because there's shit I want to talk about, but we can't do it on the show without ruining the entire concept and legacy of what we've built. So, I'm always looking for things to do on the Patreon that we normally don't get to do. So there's a bunch of different concepts and shows and things we're working on. And, I think a full Stephen King series could be a lot of fun. Going through Stephen King's work. And, maybe we get Jimmy the Hair Guy involved, and this is me just spitballing it. What if we call it Short Kings on King? Because Jimmy's really short.
You got to get Ming in there, too.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun.
Damn.
I mean, I'm short, but I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm Short King levels. I'm no Jimmy. I got a good, foot on him. Jimmy the Hair Guy is only 4'9". Most people don't know that. And I'm 5'7",
Maybe for
I'm quite a bit
photo,
taller.
you could just kneel down to match.
Yeah,
it.
I do the podcast from my knees, so it's just my head on the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a concept that
I
I'm
love
just
the
thinking
idea.
of now. It's like, how could I talk about more shit that I want to talk about? So that's something that you got the brain going for me. So maybe we'll see a Stephen King thing come up. And if I do, I'm starting with Stand By Me just for you.
Oh,
John,
wow. Ruff,
John, wow.
I'm touched. I truly am touched.
For
Have
our
you guys
one
seen
listener,
it?
the
Damn.
young man you are, we'll do anything.
A young striking man.
You've changed. My life has just begun, and you've already changed it.
He's barely out the womb.
Yeah,
Can I ask you an Iowa question?
absolutely. Please.
Do you like just go out and like shuck corn like regularly and like do you like cow tip? Like I'm not even being a dick. I'm asking if like those are like activities you do.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I can't remember what the proper name for it is, but that's a very common thing for like, so most young men growing up, they get like a paper route. They want a first job. Maybe you're gonna go be a like a bag boy at a grocery store. It's very common around here for like young men to be like, I'm gonna go in the cornfields and start the shucking. It's gonna annoy the shit out of me. I don't know what the term is called, but they're like, oh yeah, I gotta go blank this morning. But what they mean is they're working out there, just, going down the line, shucking corn constantly. So that is, I'm not gonna lie, it is a pretty common thing around here. I've never done it myself outside of my own kitchen, but, and then as for, what was the other thing you asked about?
Have you cow tip?
Oh, no cow tipping. I've always
don't believe you.
been tempted. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the concept. I have seen a lot of cows. I could get to a cow within not even 5 minutes. It's very easy. So maybe I'll try it for you.
Don't. I don't want you to hurt a cow.
I'm gonna. Oh, okay. All right. Hands off.
To quote Bart Simpson, don't hurt a cow, man.
Nick, do you have like a movie that's like based like in historical fact?
I actually got two good.
You got
two good.
he did the
fucking
homework.
Movies. I got
did
the
it.
home. You gave me the homework, and you know I'm gonna do my homework because that's what I fucking do, guys. So I don't know if you've done this movie yet. Yeah, I do listen, but I'm more into the new stuff. The old stuff I haven't gotten into yet. But it's a Union movie, Norma Ray, 1979. It's about a textile mill union, unionizing and stuff like that. So it's based on truth.
I like that. It is true, unlike Stand By Me, motherfucker. So Norma Ray, I had never heard of it. And earlier this year, someone mentioned it in an email or something. It came up. And it's definitely something that we would do eventually. Maybe next Labor Day, that could be a good time. I like to try to tie things to holidays if I can. I don't know why. I just think it works better. I feel like, it's like, oh, this is a good Labor Day thing. So that is, I'll tell you something that I could definitely see us doing is Norma Ray. I'm not familiar with the story at all, but it's interesting enough that I think we could do. And obviously there's big societal implications which have carried on to this day. Like everyone in America getting ready to starve and not have toilet paper because of the Longshoremen Union and their ridiculous leader who has like 9 mansions and a giant yacht.
The other movie is Hannibal because he's one of my favorite generals. Not Hannibal like Hannibal Lecter, but
Is there a Hannibal movie? I know that they're doing one with
2000
with Denzel.
2000, Denzel's coming out in 2025 on Netflix, but this movie was made in 2006.
I never heard of this. Who's in it?
Can't remember. Let's see. Let me bring some.
Alexander Siddig, Bashir himself from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, is Hannibal. Well, I'll tell you that if I mention that to Anthony and Steve, they're going to jizz their pants because it's a Star Trek alum. Oh, wow. Scipio is in this too? Yeah, this is like good historical shit. I didn't know this movie existed, but This is something that we will definitely be doing. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
We love Hannibal and like Rome shit, so the Elephant March, oh that's cool shit in my book. Who's your favorite general?
Got to be Hannibal.
Hannibal?
I mean, he just decimated three Roman legions with just like 80,000 people. I mean, he just decimated three top generals and just took two of them out and kidnapped one of them. So it's like, with nothing, with basically nothing.
Who was Hannibal the general of what army?
Hannibal was a Carthaginian. He was from Carthage, which I believe is almost like the northern tip of like maybe like Africa, right? Like around there. I'm so bad with the geography and shit. If Ant's listening, he's probably cursing at me right now. But basically, Carthage was fighting Rome forever, and the way he ended up getting in was he took an army with like battle elephants and shit through the Swiss Alps to get to Rome, as far as my understanding, and he kicked a lot of fucking ass on the way.
Destroyed, outflanked them, just totally destroyed, decimated. Something that people at that time didn't think was possible. Like they were like, "This, you do not. That is a suicide mission," and he did it. So it's like you gotta give it up to him.
And then his namesake, thousands of years later, Hannibal Buress, did the unthinkable and got America to turn on Bill Cosby, America's dad. He got the whole country to turn against him.
Those are my two movies.
Those are good picks.
Thank you very much.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Thank you. I heard the
You
assignment.
showed up.
I love the little digs at John.
That's my whole thing. Is just fuck with John.
I feel like John takes the Rupp role where, I kind of get most of the dings on reviewing history.
Yep. Definitely.
Oh, yeah,
you
definitely,
you're reading it like a book there, Rupp, I tell you.
It's because you're the youngest.
Yeah, he's just the baby of the group. That's probably why.
He's the most virile. He can take the hits. Any of other of us, one hit to the gut, it might be the end.
Our self-esteem has been beaten down by life.
I want to throw my daughter out of her crib and bring John home and just put him in the crib and tuck him in.
John's just so in for that. He's so in for that right now.
I'd be honored, yeah.
So I brought one movie. I didn't bring two.
And you were busting John's balls about bringing one.
Yeah,
two
what the
movies
fuck?
And it.
Everything I do is bathed in hypocrisy.
Gula technically brought 3 movies because he had one in the queue earlier too. That Fist movie with what was that, Sylvester Stallone?
It's another Union movie. It's with Sylvester Stallone. It's called Fists.
Oh, yeah. FIST.
Yes.
That was also the title of the porn Stallone did before Rocky. It was called Fist.
Boom, dude, he was fisting. Yeah.
Wasn't his name the Italian Stallion?
The Braggio Bruiser.
See, John, everything goes back to anal. Everything goes back to anal.
Yeah, but for some reason with you, everything goes back to anal on me.
Okay,
You're getting it. You're
it's
getting
just
it.
the universe. The universe is telling you something, John. It's just telling you something.
I could use an enema.
Yes, there you go.
Just talk to Chuck. He can walk you through it.
All right, Justin, let's hear this.
My one movie is it's a horrific story. It's horrible. It's a movie that when I first saw it scared the shit out of me. It's the Blair Witch Project,
No, see, all right, I'm calling bullshit because you owe John an apology, motherfucker. Because you gave him shit about one movie and a fake story, and you brought that fake Blair Witch bullshit. You owe John an apology. John, That is
Guys,
not
we might
right.
have to change the formula. Rupp's figuring it out way too fast. You know, Ghoul is the asshole. I'm the punching bag, and then Justin's the scapegoat where he does all the same things I do, and never gets. He's
Never gets in trouble for it.
never. Never on trial.
Well, can I talk about Blair Witch real quick?
Yeah, we have to, of course.
I hate Blair Witch like with a burning passion. I saw it. I will never forget it. I saw it the week it came out. My father told me this was like the scariest movie ever. It was getting all this hype. And my father and me went and we saw it opening weekend, I think 1998. And the movie ends, and it's Staten Island in 1998. The movie ends, the credits roll. It's a man like looking in a corner. It's like, is he taking a piss? What is happening? The movie ends, and I'll never forget this Staten Island goon goes, "What the fuck was that? The fucking South Park movie was scarier than that shit." And that's always in my head with the Blair Witch. I've seen it since, and I hate that fucking movie. I will say on the Patreon, it's almost a guarantee we're going to cover it at some point.
That's a great.
That shit is gold.
So the movie that I brought, it's not I wouldn't call it a great movie, but it was something that I could personally relate to. It was the Captain Phillips story. I was living in Vermont at the time, and the captain was from Vermont, so I remember it was just big fucking like huge news back then. And it was like the first time, like, oh my god, like pirates are fucking real. Like this is fucking crazy. Like they're not just like on the movies. Like it blew my mind. So that was one.
Pirates are real, and they don't look like Johnny Depp?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Why are they not fighting on a giant wheel? Why are they way more scary? That's a movie I really, really liked when it came out. I genuinely enjoy that movie. I've seen it like a couple times, pieces of it on TV. It's one of those that it's a matter of time before we do it. I think a story like that where it's modern, it's well made, it's well acted. It's a matter of time before we do stuff like that, and it's a tense movie. I think it's a really good movie. I can't foresee us not doing it,
I mean, Tom Hanks is just up your alley anyways. Those types of movies. He does those movies, so...
We all love Private Ryan, and we had a big discussion this year because our pod... Our release date is always Wednesday. So we were dropping a new episode this year on Wednesday, and it was D-Day. So I was like, I want us to go really big for D-Day. I was like, let's do The Longest Day, right? The full movie capturing the events. And I was like, and I think it would be a fun thing because we can't do all of Ryan. Because I was like, the whole movie is bullshit except for the opening. I was like, let's watch the opening 20 minutes and cover that and just talk about, what's accurate in the scene. And we basically ended up deciding that it's just not worth the time. And, with how crunched we are to record, we just had to let it go. So that's what happened. But in a future D-Day, it's something that could happen. But I don't know. We'll see.
He's right on the holidays.
I think it helps. I think it helps with our numbers, honestly. Like, looking at like the business side of this, where like we're putting shit out and we want to make sure people see it. So I always try to think, what is the algorithm going to push on people at that time? So, for Black History Month, if it was up to me, I would just do, 3 Black History Month movies because the algorithm is going to push that. They want people to watch that stuff. So the D-Day episode that we dropped for The Longest Day, which honestly, we went in with pretty low expectations as far as views because it was like, no one is really looking for the movie The Longest Day, let alone, a 2-hour podcast about it from 3 assholes that nobody knows. But Spotify boosted the shit out of it, and it's one of our most viewed episodes.
Nice.
And you guys just reminded me, I got to do something with Pearl Harbor. You may see later. But are you guys forgetting about the Arbor Day classic? It's Arbor Day, Charlie Brown.
Oh man,
This guy's a
okay.
legend.
Yes,
He's a legend.
yes. I admittedly, I am only 26, but I am a huge fan of the Peanuts. Thank you very much. You can't take that shit away from me. In fact, it's the Super Bowl Charlie Brown I had on VHS, and I played it until it didn't work
Same.
anymore. I loved that
I
one.
love that one too. I was always like, come on, just hit this fucking goddamn football from this stupid bitch. Come on, Charlie. But I had the Super Bowl
Yeah,
one.
just stop pulling it away from him. Let him kick it.
I always thought, and you know, maybe it's a good thing he didn't do this, but I always thought Charles Schultz's last Peanuts scat, like comic, should have been Charlie Brown kicking the football finally. He didn't have
man,
that level
yeah,
of like
yeah.
victory inside him.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go a dark way with like the last panel of Garfield being like him in his bed and then snoozing and then the snoozing just stops. Like I thought you were gonna just say like it's Charlie Brown on his deathbed and like
he's still a
Lucy's
kid.
like here you go Chuck. Just puts it in his lap.
Have you ever seen It's the Girl in the Red Truck, Charlie Brown?
I don't think I have. No.
No.
Okay, go on YouTube, and you need to do this, and you need to just watch. It's all there. It's called The Girl in the Red Truck, Charlie Brown, and I'll
Okay.
give you the synopsis. It's a blend of live action and animation. The only animated character in the movie is Snoopy's cousin Spike, who's like kind of a dirtbag. He falls for a pretty teen played by Charles Schultz's daughter, she is the titular girl with the red truck, and they have a quasi-romance together, and gangbangers come and try to kill Spike, and they shoot at him in a drive-by, and it is very intense and weird, and I highly recommend watching this bizarre fucking thing.
What the fuck? Is this like an official thing?
Holy shit, guy.
Oh, this is real. Charles Schultz's daughter is like the lead actress.
Oh my god. That is fucking
It's on YouTube. Yeah, this aired on TV.
Right.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
the girl
okay.
in the red truck, Charlie Brown.
Wow. Yeah, definitely gonna give
so
that one a
weird.
watch. Well, Rupp, we gotta put you on the spot here for a minute. It's getting towards time where we gotta close this out. And what we do with each one of our guests, you gotta give us a bee fact. Any fact you know about bees, you just gotta hammer it home. The stage is yours. Give it up.
Okay, I got this. Bees. Hold on, sorry. I'm thinking. Bees are susceptible to being affected by certain frequencies of Wi-Fi and radio, and it has led to colony collapse in many places. However, the bee population has rebounded recently, and there are more bees now alive today than there were about 15 or 20 years ago when we were told that bees were dying.
Whoa.
The bees have responded and bounced back.
Whoa. That's a fucking bee fact.
How did they do this, Rupp? What did they
Nice.
build some kind of like Wi-Fi jammer?
I don't know what they started doing exactly, but I think they started taking more care about, the breeding and taking care of bees, and the population of it completely rebounded. I'm about to be a big optimist. You'll always hear about all sorts of problems facing humanity, but humanity is really good at finding solutions to problems. This is a fact for you. The United States' current carbon emissions are lower than they were before World War I.
Wow. How is that
What?
possible? How is that even remotely
Because,
possible?
within the past, I don't know how long, let's say 20 years to be fair, there were great steps in technology taken and advancements in technology to cut carbon emissions, and also probably, there's less production overall in the country, which probably plays an even bigger factor in
sure.
this. But carbon emissions are actually lower now than they were before World War One in the United States.
Okay, I guess I could see it with like the mixture between like most factories switching between like a coal-based steam deck system to more electrical stuff, and then like you said, more stuff being imported than actually manufactured within our country. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay, I can see
And I'm
it.
sure there's like all sorts of filters and shit that I don't know about, and there's the Kyoto Accords. Get 'em wrote something down. What? Just say it.
Kyoto Accords, catalytic
The Kyoto Accords, catalytic converters, and blended gas. What is blended gas?
like there's a summer blend and a winter blend.
There's a summer blend and a winter blend, apparently, that I guess are good for different purposes. There you go. I learned that.
Wow. Since Giddim's there, could we get like a 148 bee fact? Does he know anything about bees?
Do you know anything about bees?
Get on
Oh
my.
yes, please.
What is it?
Get them, yeah. They want you on mic. When you get Rupp in studio, you also usually get them.
They dance. I love bee dances.
Yeah, bees dance. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yes.
Of, honey sources.
Nice.
And they've I believe they've transplanted bees. It's not even time related. Like they've transplanted bees to different parts of the world, and they still do the same dance.
What? The same thing? That's fucking crazy.
Well, that would make sense. That's how they
Yeah, but
communicate, isn't
You
it?
would think there's like a universal bee language though. Like think about that. Like you can't go on the other side of the world and speak the same language as the other person. You know what I mean? Like that's insane.
Well, yeah. If communication is like built into their DNA, then you got to think that it's probably way more common, like spread
that's
amongst
true.
the species than it would be in different cultures. Like with our cultures, we learn to bend communication in different ways amongst small groups until we came together. But with bees, you got to think like in the same way
All
that
one
like
hive.
living beings. Yeah. In the same way that living beings know, like, instinctually how to, like, take care of their young and stuff, you got to assume that, like, bees, that's probably just, like, in their DNA code to be like, blah, 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 left, right, you know?
And I was under the assumption that bees, they, bees are pretty fascinating. But I thought they're kind of like mindless drones, and it's really just the queen running the show.
I think you're right. I mean, that's why they call it a hive
Yeah.
mind.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
they do call bees drones, as we learned from Gula.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
they definitely do, and they worker bees do what they're told.
If you
till
guys
they
saw
die.
me gyrating, I have the Mets game on mute, and there was almost a home run. It died on the track. But that's why my
I
ears
was
started
wondering what
beeping
was
at
going
the
on.
screen.
Like
Man.
Rupert's having a moment.
Yeah, I was like, they must think I'm fucking nuts.
Who's he
It's all
yelling
about the
at
Mets,
over
baby.
there?
Love the Mets. Go Mets.
Let's go Mets!
How do you feel about this whole team splitting
all right,
thing,
well,
by the way, that came
Rupp,
up on the latest Tell 'em Steve Dave? Where do you fall on that? Do you think you could root for
Wait, what'd he say?
on the latest Tell 'em Steve Dave? They talked about Q rooting for the Yankees and the Mets. Where do you fall on that? Do you root for both, or you just like diehard Mets? Where do you fall?
All right, this is what I'll say. Only a Yankee fan can go the other way because they have 27 championships. It's the most in North American sports. They're so far above everybody else that they're like, yeah, what do I care if the Mets win? It doesn't like hurt our legacy at all because if the Mets win the World Series this year, right, I can be happy and they'll win. But a Yankee fan can always just go, yeah, but how many do you have? Oh, you have 3. That's cute. I have 24 more. You'll never catch us. So you'll see a lot of times, you'll see Yankee fans be okay with rooting for the Mets, right? And you'll even see Giants fans that are okay rooting for the Jets. The teams I root for are all bitter and filled with spite like me. And 90% of Mets fans will never root for the Yankees. And 90% of Jets fans will never root for the Giants. I'll tell you straight up, when the Patriots played the Giants in those 2 Super Bowls, I was rooting for the fucking Patriots as a Jets fan. because I was like, I'm not around any fucking Patriots fans.
Yeah.
I don't go to Boston. I don't know any. But I know a shitload of fucking Giants fans. And if these fucking jerk-offs beat the Patriots, I'm going to hear about it. And, of course, they did it fucking twice because anything with me in sports must be suffering. I never get the happy outcome.
Go Boston.
I like the Red Sox. The Red Sox get in the Yankees' craw. I've rooted for the Red Sox. I remember when they came back in that ALCS in 2004 or 2005, I forget which. When they came back from 3-0 to beat the Yankees, I was on cloud fucking 9 because I was in a Staten Island high school that was basically all fucking Yankee fans. And every year you would have to hear about these fucking jerk-offs and their rings. So when Boston came back and beat them in the most dramatic fashion, it was so fucking good.
That's the Red Sox riots that I talked
Jeez,
about. That's what happened when the Red Sox riots happened. That's when it happened. Boston's insane. Fenway is insane.
Fuck. With these Boston, you're turning off at least one of our listeners.
All right,
Nick.
well,
we
Go
can't
Bruins.
have you turning off at least one of our listeners. with
We
that
only
fucking
have
Boston
a couple of listeners. We can't lose.
Yeah, I know.
any more
You're just like,
listeners.
oh, now they're turning it off as soon as the mere mention
All
of
right,
the Red Sox.
all right,
you
Boston
know?
sucks.
Oh, clip that. Clip it.
Oh, don't say that. What I will say about Boston that I was very disappointed in, and maybe you'll be able to tell me where I went. So when I was in Boston, all my friends, I don't eat seafood. They wanted to go to the seafood spot in the North End that's very famous. I forget
Legal
the name.
seafood.
The Daily Catch, is that it?
Maybe. Legal seafood is a big one.
It's a very famous spot. They went there and they were waiting online to eat. And I was like, well, I'm in Boston. I don't know where to fucking go. And I was like, I guess I'll look for pizza. And I ate at the pizza place across from TD Garden. It was very disappointing,
Yeah.
the pizza.
We don't
I got to
have good
say.
pizza.
Boston pizza
We
was,
don't
my little sampling was not
We
where
don't
it's
get good
at.
Pizza. That's not what that's not what you come to Boston for. You come for the seafood and that type of stuff. Yeah, pizza's not that great.
Yeah, I don't eat that stuff. It was like, come on,
and
man.
Matt Damon.
You know what's got really
Come
good
down,
pizza?
come down to my area, New Bedford. We'll hook you up with some Portuguese food.
There you go. You know who's got really good fucking pizza? Is that fucking pizza joint right in Airport Plaza. When we were there, I was pretty impressed.
Oh, Angelina's is really good. What is Portuguese food like?
Oh my God!
It's
yes.
just a lot of there's some seafood in it, but a lot of beef, chicken Mozambique, shrimp Mozambique. It's a lot of sauces, a lot of good gravies and stuff.
Is it spicy?
Nah, not overly spicy. It's a little bit spicy, but not overly.
I'm a complete bitch with spice.
No, you're not gonna.
Me
it's
too,
not even,
man.
It's
Me
not,
too.
it's not even another. But Pregnu Prat, like Bufana, kind of spit, like all of that
know
stuff.
what the
Oh my
fuck
God,
you're
it's
talking
so
about.
good. It's just meat, man. It's just meat. Just
I'll try the
marinated
meat.
Speaking
guy.
Portuguese now.
Are you Portuguese?
I am.
I know this is in Portuguese, but I do love like Brazilian barbecue places. Like I love a good churrascaria and just going and eating endless meats. Oh, it's so good.
Yep. Flip that card. Just keep bringing that meat, man.
Yup.
That's what Portuguese all about. Just bring that meat.
You get the meat
Keep
sweats?
bringing the meat.
Is that like the Portuguese thing? Like, is your culture like I'm really not familiar with it? Are you guys just like all about like meat all the time? Like you're like, we love keto.
Oh yeah, meat's a big part of the diet and a Portuguese diet and the Portuguese culture. Caserla, it's like I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's so fucking good. It's marinated meat. It's pork. It's pork butt and it's marinated and and it's split and thing and you put it on sandwiches and it tastes so goddamn good you will slap your own mother. It's so good.
Have you ever been to Portugal?
Yes.
How is it?
Beautiful. I've been to Ireland too. That over there. It's just wild. It's hard to explain. It's a lot of like mountains and like just fucking rocky area and stuff like that. But it's beautiful. Like
The thing I would love to do in Portugal is I would love to go to the Casino Estral and the Hotel Estral. I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's where Ian Fleming, the writer of Bond, in World War II, Portugal was neutral, and he was there, and he ended up sitting at a card game with like a bunch of Nazis and stuff. And it was in Portugal where he came up with the idea for Casino Royale.
holy shit, that's crazy.
So, yeah, I would love to go to that casino
Nice.
and go to that hotel and just be like, wow, this is fucking where it began. I think that'd be sick.
Yeah, that definitely would be sick to be sitting in that. You know where you are right now?
Can I do my plugs one last time?
Yeah,
Oh, hell
absolutely.
yeah.
I wish you would.
Check out Reviewing History. It's my podcast. We are available everywhere you get your pods. Apple, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. Check it out there. Follow it on all social media at Review History Pod on Twitter, Reviewing History Pod everywhere else. Follow me personally on all social media at Brian Ruppert. That's with 2 P's. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank and review every single movie I watch, even the ones in my personal life. So I watch for the show and the ones I watch for my life. Though the ones for my life, that time watching them is rapidly dwindling. But I'm working on it. I also have a big backlog I got to get to write reviews for. The other thing, and the main thing I am here, is please go on bandcamp.com, go to Reviewing History, search it, follow the artist, the page, whatever. Depending on when this comes out, on Black Friday, Thursday, Thanksgiving at midnight, when the clock strikes 12, our Christmas podcast will be released. It is called... sorry, I almost said last year's name. It is called The Christmas Freak Off. You're going to get probably about 3 to 4 hours of great Christmas fun and comedy going through Die Hard. And you can also check out last year's Christmas pod as well, called This Ain't No Whack Christmas, and there will be a bundle available. Bandcamp.com, Reviewing History. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was great. I love doing it. I'll come back whenever you want me. Thanks, guys.
Rupert, we loved having you on. This was fucking awesome. I want to say one thing before we sign off. This whole podcast, I've been giving John shit for being a baby, and I'm like literally only a couple months older than John, so fuck you, John. Be cool.
Shut the fuck up.
Buzz, motherfucker.
Did I do it right?
Perfect.
That was fun. Thanks, guys.